So in this video, I want to talk about skin redness slash rosacea. The redness on your skin, if you have it, is primarily a problem of inflammation, but the problem is you can have normal systemic inflammation levels and still have rosacea. It's kind of like hair loss. You can have normal DHT levels on the blood tests, but still have hair loss. Here it's kind of similar. You can have normal CRP, IL-6, and TNF alpha, which are pro-inflammatory markers, and still have skin redness and rosacea. So it's about localized microinflammation on the skin. It's not necessarily about serum inflammation. So let's talk about the obvious stuff first, which is avoid UV damage. That's a major trigger. Avoid too much alcohol, too much junk food, too much spicy food. Damage skin barriers, so use a moisturizer. Don't let your skin become too dry. Don't use really hot water on your skin. But at the same time, don't try to be 100% healthy all the time because you're going to damage your social life. Been there. Not a good idea. So trying to be 100% healthy all the time just to avoid having stuff like rosacea, it's not really a sustainable solution. And you probably won't even fix it anyway because it's way more complex than just that. So I want to talk about products that actually work because I have it. It's a chronic condition. And over the years, there have been a lot of products that I've tried that didn't work and some of them that actually worked. So let's talk about them. One of them is 20% azelaic acid. You can buy this at a pharmacy, which I did. I have the exact one on screen. And this one is a godsend. If you have skin redness, it fixes it via two ways. One of them is it has a slight white cast, but it looks really natural. The other one is the azelaic acid is an active that actually improves skin redness because it basically helps a lot with the microinflammation problem. So it targets the main pathway, which is localized microinflammation. So this one is a godsend. If you have skin redness, try this one, the 20% one that you can get at the pharmacy. So go to a pharmacy, ask if you need a prescription. In my case, they didn't ask for it. But even if they do, I still think it's worth it because if you have skin redness, you're probably going to see pretty good results from this. Now, I know there are vasoconstrictors, which also target another pathway. But personally, I could never find those here. And those products, the ones that cause vasoconstriction in the arteries, they can have a rebound effect. So I can't really say I recommend them because there's a risk that you take them and you have a rebound effect where the problem becomes worse after it gets better. But also, I never tried them and I do not have access to them, so I can really speak on them. But azelaic acid, 20%, is something that you really have to try if you have skin redness because it does help me a lot personally. Another one is low-dose Accutane. So microdosing, for example, 5 milligrams a day or 5 milligrams every 2 days. This is a very low dose. It's not going to have any meaningful impact on your health, and yet it's probably going to increase your skin aesthetic, especially if you have acne and especially if you have rosacea, because like I said, rosacea has localized microinflammation as the main mechanism, and Accutane can help solve that pathway. If you have rosacea slash skin redness, this is probably better than tretinoin in the sense that tretinoin is very irritating if you have sensitive skin. And if you have rosacea, you have an impaired skin barrier, and in that case, Accutane is probably going to be better for you than tretinoin. So it really depends on the person. If you have really sensitive skin, this is probably going to be a net positive. And in my case, it definitely helps. So this is one of the few things that I've tried that actually work. So these two products combined, I think you're going to see pretty good improvement in skin redness if you do have it. And of course, that's combined with all the obvious stuff like avoiding UV damage and all these other obvious triggers. And finally, I want to talk about the real long-term solution, which is PDL, pulse dye laser. This is the best long-term solution, but it's also the most expensive. For example, if I want to get it right now, I'm going to have to pay for 2 sessions, which would be 500 euros. And I live in Portugal. It's probably more expensive if you're in the US. So this one is by far the most expensive one, but if you do have a job, if you're fine financially, and you have a lot of redness, it's probably a good investment. So this one remains the best option, but if you cannot afford it, or if you don't want to go there yet, or spend that much money, etc., then just I would try these two at least, and hopefully you solve the problem. But personally, I'm using these two. They help me a ton. My skin redness is much better than it used to be. And yeah, it's not perfect. I haven't 100% solved the problem. In an ideal scenario, I would get pulse dye laser, and I do plan on having it in the future. But yeah, it's still much better than it used to be. I used to have way worse localized inflammation, and right now it's just way better. So yeah, try one of these in the video if you struggle with rosacea or skin redness. And if you think I can solve one of your problems, join my Skill community. You can message me there, and hopefully I can help you with whatever you need.